Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horror for you. Right, let's give this one a wee bit of context. Actually, I need to pull up the screen. Right, so this was recommended to me on this slasher app. Somebody, one of my connections on it, posted up that somebody made their first movie, so to speak. And it was God, what was I? Yeah, it's their first time doing it. It's like a passion project, not for profit, all that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, I'm going to go easy because it's not an easy movie to watch. So we've got the premise. We've got late 1990s, two afflicted children, Jennifer and Drake, were locked up in a mental facility after brutally murdering their family. However, in the present, they escaped the institution, continue on a killing spree. A young college girl, Amy, is babysitting and visiting her boyfriend, Greyson. The inmates cause blah, blah, blah. Right. That's fair enough. How am I going to review this? Because I don't want to be like, I could rip this thing apart, and I don't want to do that because that would be nasty and unproductive. So I think what I'll try and do is let's just sort of give a wee bit of advice. I think if you're starting out, first of all, fair play to you for doing it. Okay, you have made something, you've taken an idea, it's went for more than just something on a page or something you might do. It's actually progressed to something you've actually produced and put out there, right? So props to you for doing that. Andrew Martin, the director. So I know it's your story, you've wrote it, directed it. I mean, it's all your baby. So first of all, fair play to you. You've done it. You've taken the idea. There's so many tryhards and wannabes out there that they're going to write that book, they're going to make that film, they're going to draw that picture, and they never do. So, with that being said, the fact that you've actually taken it from concept and idea to actually putting it out there, and more importantly, you put it out there. The link's in the description, by the way. You've put it out there on YouTube for free for scumbags like me to come and look at it and review it. You know what I mean? That takes some guts. So I'll have to give you that. You know what I mean? It's that takes a lot. So absolutely. With that being said, first of all, have a simple idea. What you've done here is, and actually professionals do this. It seems to be the trope of modern filmmaking is let's make something super convoluted with loads of ideas and just throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. That seems to be the method of storytelling today, and you've fallen into that trap. You've too many ideas in this. Ideally, instead of being an hour, 10 minutes, or whatever it was, this could have been a 30-minute short easily. Just with some editing, honestly, you could have made this into a really gripping 30-minute short, even with what you've done. You've fallen into that trap, unfortunately, of too many ideas, too many plot lines, and it's not joined together. So with that, even everything else, bringing that in, you've kind of tied up your own story, and you've made it a bit unwatchable. Because honestly, I got to the 40-minute period, and I was only watching it just because I had to review it, and unfortunately, that takes you out of it. So you've too much stuff going on. So for your next project, and I really hope you do carry on the next project, and this is your start. I mean, you've got over the start line now. This is where you start to hone your craft, you think about things, and carry on. And I really hope you do. Like I said, the whole thing is we need independent creators. We need more ideas out there, and don't let your first thing, define you, or don't let your first hurdle, make you stop. So where will we begin? Right. Let's start with the theme music. So it's almost like you've forgotten for about 40 minutes of the movie that you can use music. And when you do use music, it's all over the place. you can't get the theme of this movie or what it's about. And even with the storyline, it's sort of you can see there's a jumbled up process here. I think you've got 3 ideas for 3 different stories, and you've sort of crammed them into one. So don't come from the idea of, right, this must be. I think this is also the modern era as well. Everything must be an intellectual piece. It must be high art or something. You know what I mean? I think that's what's been bandied about, and then I think that's people now have this expectation what they have to create, and just you know what I mean, young kids. I mean, they're young folk in this, so you can understand they've been gripped by this idea, and it's poisonous. Of you're not telling stories anymore. You must blah blah blah. Must be all this up here, and it's setting an unreasonable bar when most people just want to be entertained. So think for your next project, think of that. Think of I just want to entertain folks. What entertains me? And you'll find the high art stuff generally doesn't entertain most people. And you'll know yourself when you're watching. You're not laughing, you're not cringing, you're not doing this. You're just kind of going, oh, right. Well, I get the message they're trying to bring across in this. Don't step away from that trap. If you do, fantastic, and then that's you'll move forward. There'll come a time if you do have something that you feel like you want to say, not something you're being told to say. If that makes sense, it'll come out naturally. And it'll come out through the medium of your artwork. When you feel like I must tell this message or I must say this thing because this is what's expected to say, you're already boxed yourself in. And there's a wee bit of acting on certain news articles and stuff that were showing up that just felt I had to say stuff. And I don't think it really, because there was no purpose, just, all right, we'll have to put this bit in because that's expected today. You guys, younger ones with the energy and the spark out there to create, use the chance to bring this mediocrity, because we're in a period of mediocrity at the moment, of really bad storytelling. You're not growing up in a good time to be inspired. So I'll say that this is the worst decade of filmmaking ever. Just the worst time of not, and you can see it leaching into the horror genre as well, the sort of mainstream, because they're trying to lean on horror now because they've burnt everything else. In the worst time, there's nothing inspiring out there. But you have the chance, I think, to make things inspiring again. But the way you do that is to go back to basics. Go back to the basics of the storyteller. First of all, the hero's journey. That's always a good one. Look up the hero's journey. That's always a good one to start. Because in this, you didn't know who really the hero was. I know you were pointing towards... oh, God, this is... Oh, there it is. Not Jennifer. Amy. You didn't mention the wee girl's name in this. Yeah, also... IMDb is really useful because people like me don't remember names. Like, even after I've literally just watched this 10 15 minutes ago, and then had to rush through the stream because I thought it said this for 9, not 8, because I'm an old fart, I'm geriatric and a bit senile. But yeah, IMDb, list all your characters, actors. I have a funny feeling this is a friends and family project. You've had friends and family help you out, which amazing, by the way. If you have that sort of support, absolutely amazing that they will jump in and help you out. That's a lifeblood to any creative. Just having those people prepared to give the most precious thing in their time to help you make something. And you can never repay somebody for that, and it's fantastic that you got it. So, right. With that being said, let's go into the movie. So, music through theme. What you need at the minimum are 2 main pieces for your story. You've your dialogues, normal pace, that sort of tune. And it just has to be subtle. It doesn't have to be like a song or anything. It just has to be a beat, a rhythm. Tune. Look at Halloween, like one of the most recognizable franchises that's just done on a simple piano. Anyone plays that, you recognize it. The Exorcist. Once you hear the intro of Tubular Bells, you know straight away. Friday the 13th, that and Nightmare on Elm Street. You know what I mean? They've all got just those hook lines, so you need that running through your movie, and it doesn't have to be because I've seen that you obviously you know how to use graphics with your intro and you know how to put music in and stuff. So that sort of theme that people know the movie. Then you need your high tension bits and your emotional bits. So they're just sort of your three pieces, and use the same throughout the movie so people know where they are. Because what you seem to have done here is you've just used random pieces of music. And don't know whether it's friends created it or something, or just just stuck. But have someone just have someone create it for you or help you out. Or there's you can do loads of research and get loops and samples. I do it for the narrative fiction. I don't use actual, first of all, they don't want to steal people's work, so I don't use copyright, but I use loops and samples and I put them together and make it, I mean, it's simple enough to do, but you have to be clear in your mind what type of story you're telling. When you get that down, I think that'll flow better because there's this disjointedness throughout it that, and never mind the special effects, never mind that, but the storytelling, that's the bit. The more I review these movies, the more I look at them, that's the bit you get nailed down. If you get that nailed down, a lot will be forgiven, trust me. But when people don't get the story, then they start looking at the other bits. So thankfully we didn't get the warning shot with this. There wasn't an drone intro. So as you know, the rules of Horrific podcast, you see that drone intro, you're going to get a terrible movie. We didn't get this. What we did get instead was your shaky phone shot, which was hilarious. I thought we were going to start off with a comedy. When I saw that and I saw the thing moving. Obviously, you guys live in America. Walmart do phone holder stands for like $12, I think, like super cheap ones, and they're brilliant. Tripod, stick the phone on it, you're good to go. Invest in like $20, $30, invest in a couple of those, and you're golden. Lav mics, lav mics are golden. Once again, you can pick them up anywhere for like $2-3, a couple of dollars. They're super cheap. You've done this a lot through the phone's camera, microphone, and it tells. The sound in this just takes you out of it. That's a big thing. You can forgive a lot, but when you get bad sound and you get overarching, that really takes you out of this. So there's simple solutions that you're not spending an absolute fortune, but you can instantly improve your quality. So a couple of stands that you're not going around holding the camera because it's really obvious that you're doing that. And you can easily establish shots. Lav mics really help reduce that ambient noise. And this is where your music comes in as well, because then you're not picking up every single sound. If you have the right theme tune going through it, and like I said, you know what sort of story, by believe it or not, picking the music and the thing in your head before you even begin, you know what sort of story you're going to tell and how it's going to work. So you'll have that in the back of your mind as you're shooting. But yeah, the sound in this just really takes you can't be invested when you hear this going along. It just removes you every time. There are things with this story. We've got Amy in a pool. She's supposed to be athletic swimmer. Look up athletic swimmers and how I knew them when I swam a lot when I was younger. I'm not a competitive swimmer, by the way. I don't have to build shape or motivation, but I did do quite a bit of swimming in my youth, and we shared pool alongside competitive swimmers. The way they act is not the way Amy acts, and it's not like, oh, come on in, jump in. 13 seconds behind is half a pool length. If you're 13 seconds behind the lead, you're not even there. You're in a different race. You're in a race behind you, losing, not the first one. So it really is that intense. So if you're going to pick something like that, yeah, wee bit of research, just simple things like that. Believe it or not, you don't have to go into high lore or anything, but simple research. If you're going to say somebody's a competitive swimmer, look what competitive swimmers do and make her that sort. And then that should be her character for a start. So she wouldn't be sitting glugging wine and messing about. She'd be totally focused. They should be a really intense person, and you don't get that. You get that sort of wishy-washy character. So know what your story is. Keep it simple. And if you're going to add elements in, what does that element do to a person? So competitive swimmers are super intense people. They are. Anybody's in the competitive sports, for example, that's, that is their focus, and there's not really much time for anything else. Plus, she's studying as well, and blah blah blah. I mean, she wouldn't be that sort of character. Get those things right, and that, once again, that'll take your story along. It's back to what I'm saying: the spaghetti at the wall, just throwing it and see what sticks. People aren't going to be invested. The use of close-up shots and stuff in this were really unnecessary and did not help with the story. I think you ruined your story by doing that. So when you've got the sheriff getting in and out of his car and stuff and that, and those close-up ones, they didn't add, right? Especially when you got that the phone right up there, like you're not adding your story. So there's bits you could have cut out immediately, and this thing would have flown so much better because it's like a zombie sort of shambling the way it's working. That makes sense, and it's doing those bits. If you remove those out of your movie, don't waste time with them. It gets into a car. Do it from more established shots. You're not feeling that pressure because close-ups are not easy. You look at a movie and there's people who either get it or don't in terms of close-ups. It's a tricky thing to do. So you try to do like every other image or scene or action's a close-up shot. It just looks like bad selfies, and it's taken away from your story. So once again, you've overcomplicated it. Just strip it down, keep it simple. I was wondering what he was thinking. Is that he because I was wondering why this was so long for a start, especially for a first attempt. People normally I've spoken to directors and so on, and they always start off with shorts. That's what they use to practice. Even if you see our Peter Jackson series, he started off with shorts. Little scenes and stop animation and stuff, just to test the camera and setting up things. 10, 20 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You don't start off by making an hour-long film. That's biting off more than you can chew. Same as writers. You don't start off just making that epic. You can have the idea in the back of your head, but you don't practice your craft. Right, I'm going to do my 3-part fantasy world building series, which is going to be a 10-book series. You don't. Start off with short stories. You practice. You hone your craft. Marathon runners don't start off running 30 miles. You start off with your jogs, your fun runs, and you build up. So, with that respect, I would say this is your way forward. So use this one, but I would say your next 3 movies should be shorts, 20 minutes. Have a concept, have an idea, and then practice the idea of turning that idea, translating it onto film. And you'll be amazed at how quickly you'll build up. It's the same as me starting this stuff. I did not start going straight away live and doing all this. This took me a while to build up, to get comfortable in front of a camera, speaking to the ether, and all that kind of stuff. I started off just narration. I didn't even go on camera first. It started off purely narration and built it up till I got comfortable and found out what worked, what didn't work. Like, for example, I'm not an auto cue reader. Anyone who sees me put up an auto cue and start to read stuff up, I become a robot, and it's horrible, and I become really self-conscious that I'm doing it. It's probably something I could build up, but rather than do that, I've built up just the sort of freestyle that I do. I prefer and I've got better at it. Always improvement, always moving forward, by the way. But this all doesn't happen overnight. It takes years to build up. So I think you're trying to do a full hour-long movie was a bit much as a starting off project. I understand you had to get people invested in better costumes and stuff and all that kind of thing. And you maybe felt that you had to produce something great. But there's nothing wrong with shooting something over a weekend. And this is where you do all your planning beforehand. So what's your idea? What's your theme? What do you need? What's your music? what type of characters you're going to have. You can have all it done and knock out a 20 minutes short over a weekend, say, and then you're not having to worry about investing people's time to begin with. Definitely suggest that. So, like I said, the story itself is very wooden, and I think as well. Never mind, because like I said, we've talked about directors who have had mediocre actors or not very good actors. By the way, I'm not saying enough because I know that just this like first time and back to stop being awkward in front of the camera thing. It really comes across. People you've just dragged in and you put them in front of a camera and they're a bit, what am I doing? Okay, fine. What I mean? That's so obvious in this. That's why I'm saying shorts are better because the length of time this is, it really becomes obvious. And once again, it really takes you out of the story because you've just got people who are in front of a camera going, yeah, I gotta say something, and the awkwardness is just really palpable. So yeah, but it's that's just what happens when you have inexperienced people just standing in front of a camera in a creative project. This is where you need to, I think, connect with other creatives. It's fantastic using family and friends, but I think if you seriously want to make something, this is where you need to drama group, filmmaking group. The internet is absolute gold, right? It doesn't just have to be friends and family or people you physically know now. That is out the window. You can connect with the entire world, with people all over, and you'd be surprised who you can find within a locale who can help you out. Now, I know from this you've used neighbors and family and friends. You haven't shot a location. So once again, think about your story that you want to tell. So think about the limitations. Tell a really simple story that just needs the woods. The woods would have been perfect one. Do the camping trip. That would have been ideal, rather than having to worry about houses and cars. You've tried to throw too much in, which I think you find is as a challenge. Yeah, just keep it really simple. So the whole idea is these escape convicts have got out and they're going around killing people. We've got a scene at the start with a doctor, and we don't know why he's involved and why he's in the woods and stuff. It's very very sort of cliche. The cliche horror movie, you have to have your opening kill almost to get it out of the way. It kind of falls into that one, which in this, fair enough. I can get it. That's standard for most. But then we get nothing really from that because we'll then spend like another 20 minutes or so with Amy and Greyson and the father shot, and all this just is very slow and ponderous and all the so it's about half an hour nearly before we meet the killers again. So with that being said, this is the part where you're just taken out of the story because you're like, okay, where are they going now? Why are they going on the rampage? So if this was going to be a slasher, make it a slasher. If you want to do a family mystery murder affair, make it that. I think this was influenced by Scream. Trying to do the twist at the end. I think it was kind of influenced by that. Which I'm not a fan of the Scream franchise, by the way. The first one was all right. As a fine, and I'm a Wes Craven fan, but fell short for me. But it definitely didn't work here. She should have been. I mean, if you wanted that, Amy had no interest. No, she wasn't unhappy. She wasn't trying to find out a mystery of her background, and Greyson was kind of there, and he was just there. If that makes sense. There was no hook for the reveal at the end. It just made no sense because you get no hint of that whatsoever because everyone's just sort of there taking part. So once again, that's back to you're throwing too much in. You're throwing too much spaghetti at the wall and not very much of it sticking. So I would say that just what was the story you're trying to tell? Stick that, keep it simple. Really, this could have just been a slasher, you know, and you'd probably have more fun doing it, I think. Good effort, by the way, on the special effects. I'll say that your makeup is quite cool. The the kills, now the action shots were not. They were really really awkward and slow. But back to what I'm saying, you don't have actors here. You've got people you've put in front of the camera that are, first of all, aren't comfortable being in front of a camera, and then B, you can't really have action shots. This is where tying up with a theatre group would be really advantageous for you if this is what you want to do. People that want to do this, an amateur theatre group, and then out of that theatre group, you could find 4 or 5 people that want to, here, let's make a movie. That's usually how it progresses. And you get much better results, and you get a better flow and theme to it. God, I've even been invited to flipping they run the course in London at the moment, so it's like really cheap, but they do action stuff on stage, like sword fighting and that. There's flipping courses teaching how to do all that kind of stuff. Brilliant. So there's loads of that out there as well. So even people from, go look at those sort of groups. You'll find folks. That's where your networking skills come in, before you start. So just think of this for the next one. Network, try and find at least another creative. Find someone with like special effects, because you can make a special effects orientated and have fun with the gore. And nothing wrong with a horror comedy. Start that off, just make it cheesy, B movie type stuff. Because this had the impression of taking itself very seriously. So you didn't even have the B movie vibes. And if you want B movie vibes, 7th Street Productions, Calvin, go see his movie. He embraces that stuff to the hilt. Obviously our friends at Acrostar, they embrace cheesiness and the manage to have a laugh along with it as well. So there's loads of groups out there, that are doing it amateur wise. They're not relying on big budgets and that, but they're aware of it, and they kind of build that into their plot so that you can sort of switch off and have fun. I think that's what it is, because I didn't know what movie I was watching, so I didn't know whether, like, when you see that stuff with shaky camera, you should be like laughing at it, but I didn't get that sense of fun. So I didn't know whether I should be laughing at this as a B movie, or is this a serious attempt at a psychological horror thriller with intrigue and twists that's just been told really poorly and then falling short. I didn't know what I was watching. That's the big thing. And you look at back catalogue of reviews here, and you'll see I have watched some cheesy, awful stuff that I've absolutely loved because it's made with that sort of heart and feeling, and you get it. It's not an easy thing to do, pull that across the screen, but these are sort of the things you need to do. But all in all, like, even free movie available on YouTube, and you're putting it out there and you're getting it, I would seriously edit this. I would seriously consider taking this down and putting it back up again as a 30 or 40 minute short. You could shave 20 minutes off this just with all the close-up shots that don't really do anything. Wee bit of editing and a bit more palpable, because I honestly switched off. I was only, if I wasn't reviewing it, I would have switched off. Definitely when I got to like the 40-minute period, because it was just like, it wasn't the ending. And that was another thing. You seem to not be able to bring the resolution to the end of the movie. You sort of jumped into all the tropes of, the killer gets hit, gets back up again. It's this one, you couldn't they couldn't bring the thing to a close, and it became so obvious that it was just, last 10 minutes were really difficult to watch. And once again, it's just having that clear vision of how they want the story to end. I think that's the hardest thing, the start and the end of any story you tell, whatever medium or format it might be. They're the two things you have to be very clear about: how it begins, how it ends, and the middle part's just how you get there. And that's really it. Like I said, I don't want to rip it apart. It's, it's been made with an innocence. Let's just say, you know what I mean, this hasn't been made to try and get money off people or anything else. It's an art project. It's been made. Someone wants to make a movie and get it out there. And like I said, congratulations for doing it. Fantastic. You've already put yourself up there above the hundreds of tryhards and wannabes and people that don't even, have great ideas and no execution whatsoever. So take heart in that. You've done that. Now it's time to, you've got your first one over the hurdle, so to speak. Think of your next project and just dial it down. Just make it simple, dial it down, and think about what you want to do. And then the elements will come together. So all that being said, I'll leave a review there. The link's in the description. Feel free to check it out. And also, I'll look forward to maybe seeing what the next one's going to be or how we're going to progress. And there you go. I'll leave it there. So, as always, keep up to date with the channel, do the type of sticky things. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.